Okay, I'm just going to do something today and pretend that I have some control over situations. I was approached by a person who claimed they were homeless, and I really don't have that much money to give out right now, so instead we had a conversation, and I was homeless too. And I work for a living right now to make sure that I'm not homeless anymore. I was living on the streets for about a year. I had many episodes that made me be without a place to stay and get tossed around, but probably maybe 2.5 years. Um, it was working me through sobriety, and it helped me with my psychological issues, being angry at the things that had happened in my past, being out there without a phone, without money. It makes me uncomfortable to talk about it because it's probably just for me to record it and speak about myself and what happened to me. And I would hope that somebody could help these people that are on the streets right now. Um, I had gotten into a place where I lost my items that proved my identity because of the fact that I was always walking and having to carry my belongings. So that was the issue with this person that I met today. He'd lost his ID. It doesn't mean that they're not from here, but when we were speaking, I was telling him that I was homeless too. I don't have the money to give you right now because I've got enough for rent and my stuff that I have to pay for. I budget myself to make sure that I have enough money. Um, I tried to work today, but I couldn't really see myself working today because I've been doing 6 days straight. I wanted to have a day off. But that's the main thing that is a problem with some of these people that are homeless. If you give them a little bit of change, it'd probably just prolong the inevitable of them being homeless all the time. But I believe in the rehabilitation. Um, I think in a higher power, it works with us on the street and it connects you with the right people at the right time when you're ready. I did a lot of praying when I was out there because I was the type of person that didn't like to bum money. I was looking for the solution to my problem. I had a home, I had a family. Um, I think I chose it a lot to go out and see what it was like because I wanted to just be free from the internet, free from um, the electronics. Just wanted to be out there, see what I could see and doing what I could do. And I believe that Colorado had a great system for homelessness. They have public transport that takes you all around, and their health department actually can give people vouchers to be on the bus. Um, they help you with your identification process if you don't have money for that, just to get you back into the labor forces. So if somebody's ready and willing, I think that every state should have one of those places to where a person can get sent to the legal services office and get their identification back, help them get their birth certificate and their belongings, or at least an ID to get a job first. You know, help them get their social security back, the card and stuff. That helped me out. Um, and then getting into the job force, I started with the labor force, working day to day, building up a reputation in the state that I was in so that I could get into a full-time job. And finally I did. I was a housekeeper for a while. They hired me on for like 4 or 5 months, and then I was really done with housekeeping because I'd been cleaning for a long time, cleaning houses and helping out with stuff like that. So I got into the valet services and worked there until the layoff happened last year. Um, and now I'm doing delivery services until I can get hired on permanently for another job. Got one in the works right now that um, I have to go take my driving test and stuff. So I talked to this guy for a few minutes and told him, I said, it's you have the right to get out of it. You don't have to stay in a homeless situation. Um, I suggested he get back to where he could get a job, go work with his dad or something so that he can get his ID and stuff taken care of. And hopefully this will be a thing of the past one day. I think that we need more sources out here that is close enough for people to get to if they have a bicycle. This guy had a bicycle. So if he has a bicycle and he's got a place that he can get to quick enough, just to get his identification back, get some help. I know you have to have a place to store your identification, but, you know, anyway, that's all I wanted to discuss today is I've been seeing a lot of them lately and they've been asking me for change and stuff. And I really don't have the right to give every person that asks me for change. I would say you need a bigger change than that. You need to be able to get your life back on track so that you can have a place to live. That's the first thing that you tell me is you're homeless. And I rebuked myself every time I thought about asking for money because when I did start asking for money, I got a lot of no's. And I realized you're going to have to get yourself back to a workforce and start building up your income, doing the best you can to keep your budget in order and recovering from the days when I drank and, smoked pot and stuff like that. So I think that drug addiction is one of the biggest problems because you start getting into a certain mindset. And I still smoke cigarettes sometimes, but I really wanted to quit that to see if I could be like relieved from the other substances. I don't feel comfortable even talking about stuff like this anymore because it's just like you're trapped in a mindset and you don't know how to free yourself from the talk and the chatter of all the things that I've been through. I've started a book, but does anybody ever really listen? I don't really know, but I know I listen to myself and I look at it as it's success as far as I have a place to live. I have a car now. I still have to ask for help for food. Um, right now, it got to the point where this job has been sporadic. You have to wait for orders and you don't really get paid hourly. So I have to do it more often to make sure that I have enough. And the food and stuff. That's why I'm trying to get a permanent job working hourly because the food prices are expensive. I like to eat at home and have vegetables and, meat and rice and stuff like that. So I go to the grocery store to eat my food and I've had to ask for help right now. And I believe that it's expensive. I've got enough, but I'm telling you, if I didn't have the help from the government for the food right now, I'd probably be overdrawn right now because of the milk prices. I drink milk and eggs and stuff like that. They do help. I used to be mad at them all the time, but they do help when you really need it. And I'm hoping that it goes through again because I'm not ready to be off of them yet. I've had to be on them every once in a while, and I was fine without them when I was working for valet, when I was in a permanent job. But right now, I just don't know if I could do it without it because my rent raised this month. because the lease changes. So rent raised. The electric bill's raising because it's summertime and it's hot outside, so that's more expensive. Car insurance due. I guess I'm talking about my finances, and I'm talking about the fact that I'm on track, and I've been witnessing the people that are where I was, and I'm hoping that they can come out of it. Um, I know you do have systems, but um, can we get them housing? I know that some people are staying in tents and stuff like that in California, and I can understand. It's kind of like what, like Matthew McConaughey, and we're talking about um, how do you handle a situation like that? And rehabilitation is one of the parts. And if they start asking for help enough, people just need to direct their paths. And I wish that there was like a system to help them get back into their identification when they were ready. Because I see that as a big issue with a lot of them. They lost their identification, or, you know, you just get misplaced. You get out of your habitat. And I think a lot of us were going on a path to get out of the old ways, the sins of our forefathers, so to speak, because I know that I was raised in it. So if I wasn't raised in it, I wouldn't have been subjected to it. And since I was raised in it and I was around the people that did something inside of me wanted to not do it. So it pulled me out of all those situations and put me into a different situation where I was by myself, and I had to recuperate from that. And of course, my body got tore up a little bit because I wasn't eating right. But I usually got put somewhere for a little bit to feed myself and get some rest. Um, it's hurtful. Yeah. And I think we don't have really many connections anymore to where we feel comfortable with ourselves because of the way we act or the way we think. Um, can I get some props? You know what I'm saying? Can I get a whoop whoop? This girl did great. I don't know, man. I did get to go to school. I'm going to school. So that's positive, and I probably need to get to my classes and read because I'm on my last week of my computer class. And then I start a new one next week. So we'll see what I do in this class. I'm not doing as good as I have in all my other classes for a year. I was pretty much straight A's or A minus. I think I may have gotten a B in finance and economics, but this one I may make a C because it's really hard. My mind doesn't know, and I hope that it picks it up so that it can understand what I'm reading and what they expect of me in these classes, because I believe it'll get more difficult as I go along. And I hope that since I'm doing it all the time, my mind will get to a place to where it understands it better. Have no clue about my future, about what job I'll get into or anything like that. I've done so much stuff in the world that my problem was I couldn't stick with it. And now I'm in the point where I'm trying to stick with stuff. I'm trying to stick with it and see what I can do for myself. And I am not doing the other stuff that I used to do. So I've cleaned up my act, and I appreciate myself for that. That was my reason for putting this video on today. I like to talk about that and see if anybody hears and they can understand and they have the authority to do it or the power to do it, I think that they should have legal services all over the place that offers free help to get identification corrected in the homeless community. Um, you have to prove who you are anyway. You got to go in there and give them your information of what you know. There's got to be a system that people can get it done when they're ready, of course, because I know that a lot of people are out there trying to mingle with the people that they're used to mingling with, and they're not ready for that. But if somebody like that guy I saw today comes up to you, we should have public information on how to get that corrected. So I'm asking my government or whoever, statewide, federal wide, is there a way that we can get it more often around places where people are homeless and need it? Colorado can do it, so can the rest of the world. To keep people from being displaced. And if they're ready to get off the streets, they can get off the streets. And I don't know if there's a place in Florida or Georgia or anywhere else, but I know Colorado had one. And I would appreciate hearing that on my news one day soon. Thank you guys. Talk to you later.